in the most headache, troublesome section of this whole process. As I initially mentioned in the previous videos, when I started the project, I asked around about doing the framing. I spoke to a bunch of framers. Each framer came in with a different price, different ideas, different things of what to do, how the layout should be. But I already had my plans already set, and I told them I want exactly this. So first framer I spoke to just over the phone, I told him what I wanted to do. I told him the size of the room, and he said it's going to be about $20,000 bucks. I spoke to a second guy, third guy, a few guys came over. They looked at the project. They quoted me, I think it went from 20 to 16 to 14 to 8,000. And then finally I spoke to the last guy. He came over to the property, he looked at the project, and he said he can do it for $5,000. He was licensed, I looked at the license, everything was good, licensed and bonded. And right after the plumbing was done, I called him up about a week before. I told him, hey, can you start the project this day? He said yes. So he came over, he started doing the work. Now have in mind, he charged me $5,000 bucks. 1,000 of that was just for the materials. So initially he charged me $4,000 to do the labor, which is not bad at all. He finished all the rough framing. That was on one day. He did 1 day of work. After that, he had an accident. He couldn't finish the project for about a month, almost going into 2 months. So that's when I had to pull the brakes. I asked him, what was going on, if he was going to be able to finish the project. He said yes, but he wasn't working because he had an accident. He was getting better. So I needed to get this project done. And for the amount of work that he did, I think it was a great deal because he did all the framing, and I'm going to show you what he did for $5,000 bucks. He basically framed this wall. He added the framing for the window. He added all the 2x10s. He installed all that stuff. He opened up the access to the door. He framed the closet wall, the bathroom, the plumbing wall, this wall. He opened up access to the bathroom window, and he opened up access for this big window here. So overall, $5,000, $1,000 for the materials, and $4,000 in labor was not a bad deal. I think it was a pretty good deal. So also for the $4,000 of work, he installed some anchor bolts. He installed about 15 of these things. We have those all the way around the property. And also for the $4,000 of labor, he installed hold downs. He installed 4 of these things. One there, another one there, and another one there. So all that work, $4,000, not bad. Licensed contractor. I called the city inspector to come by and take a look at the work. I wanted to see if there was anything missing, and there was. So there was 2 mistakes done on the project. First, he shaved off more than 25% of the 2x10. So it's supposed to be, you're only supposed to shave off a certain amount, and he went over. So having done that, the city inspector said one way to offset the weight is to install a 4x8 that goes from one corner to the other corner. This mistake could have been avoided if he hadn't shaved off so much of the 2x10s. I think overall, even with that mistake being done, and instead of paying $20,000, paying $4,000, still not bad at all. And same thing here. The city inspector said you shaved off more than you should, so I want you to install a 4x8 with hangers from one point to the other point. So that was mistake number one. Mistake number two, I don't know what he was thinking or his helpers were thinking, but they didn't install pressure treated wood on the plumbing wall. So this was just standard wood. City inspector came in and wanted us to take that out. They wanted us to install pressure treated wood. So two mistakes, not bad. So city inspector came by, he looked at the work that he had completed, and he told me what to do, what are the mistakes that he had done, and the corrections that we needed to do. I called another guy, another licensed contractor. The way I happened to bump into this guy is I was just driving, going to work, and I happened to be right behind his truck. His ad said framing, his license on the bottom. I took a picture, called him, he came by, and he gave me such a great deal that I told him to start working right away. So when I get in contact with the other contractor, I'm going to show you what he did for about $2,500. For $2,500 in labor fees, he installed a 4x8 from one corner to the other corner. He installed this one from this end to that end. He framed up, there was an opening here, he framed up that opening. He removed some concrete steps that I had here. He installed this one, this one, this one, and this one over here. He also provided access to the attic. He fixed the mistake by the first contractor by adding pressure treated wood. He also installed a bunch of, these are called redheads. These are expensive. They're about 10 bucks each, and we needed a bunch. So they added up pretty quickly. They go all the way around to keep the wall bolted onto the foundation. He also added more wood, so when the drywall comes in, there's a place for the screws to be mounted to. He installed some 2x4s there, right over here. He installed, there was this guy missing. It was here and there was a lot of sections that needed just a little bit more 2x4s, so he installed all that. Even after going the route that I went with the first guy, charging me $5,000, $4,000 in labor, $1,000 in material, having those two mistakes being done, and me having to find another contractor, charging me $2,500 for labor, and roughly about $400 in materials, it was overall a way better deal than paying $20,000 for one company to do the work. All the work passed the inspections, everything was done up to code, and I managed to save $12,000 just by calling a bunch of contractors to do this specific job. So the next video that I'm going to upload is going to be about